And now, a brand new episode of Script to Screen Spotlight here on Radio Lebanon 96.2 FM, made to be heard. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Script to Screen Spotlight here on Radio Lebanon 96.2 FM. I'm your host, Alan Mahana, and you heard a little bit of music, which you weren't technically supposed to hear right now. Slight mishap here. It's all good. Today we're talking television. We're talking about the beautiful, amazing, golden age of TV that we are experiencing today. We've always said that Script to Screen is a platform to talk about the film and television industry, and we haven't really had a chance to fully discuss and talk about the TV industry. So this is what we're going to be doing today, and I am saying we because, as always, joining me in the studio is the solo to my Chewbacca, the co-captain, the one and only Had Solo.
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
It's going.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
I love Fridays, man.
TGIF.
Fridays are so much. Okay, no.
I don't know.
No, let's not sing it.
You know, TGIF used to be an ABC. It used to be like a thing for Friday night comedy lineup on ABC, which is a network in the US.
Yep.
And now they switched it to TGIT. Thank God it's Thursday.
Okay.
And it's the on Thursday you get Scandal. You used to get Scandal before it ended, but you get Grey's Anatomy, How to Get Away with Murder, and Station 19, which is like a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy now.
I did not know that. But
Yeah, well, it's TV.
I know the restaurant chain, but yeah, that's pretty much it for TGIF. Well, yeah.
TGI Fridays?
Yeah.
That's a good restaurant chain.
Not available here anymore.
Sad story. Actually, in the U.S. As well, it's not a lot of.
It's not as present.
It's not as present as it used to be. But we're not here to talk about restaurants. We're here to talk about television and serialized content. I'm a big fan of TV series. How about you?
Massive fan.
Yeah,
I'm such a big fan that I really get like ticked off when I can't watch a specific show because I'm watching another show. And there's
so much content right now. It's
too much to watch.
It's crazy.
Yeah, completely.
How much content there is,
and how to keep up and what to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes it way more difficult to keep up. I always say when you give an audience so many options, the audience gets confused. I think the less options an audience has, the better. But right now, there's so much content. There's so much good content, some mediocre content. But it is this second age or second coming of, and I'm going to say serialized content. I'm not going to say television because a lot of the serialized content isn't necessarily on TV.
Yeah, it can be
on Netflix. It's on Hulu. It's on Amazon Prime, Crackle. There's so much. You've got Facebook Watch. You've got YouTube Red. Cobra Kai. It's a lot. There's so much content out there, so much good content. We can't wait to unpack it. We can't wait to start talking about it. What were some of your favorite TV shows growing up?
I watched a lot of things growing up.
Oh, me too.
I'm trying to remember what probably like early TV shows I watched. Probably Knight Rider.
Oh, nice.
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. Kit.
Yep. I used to watch it in French, so I forgot if it was also called Kit or it had a different name.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to help you there, my friend.
Yeah. What else? I'm gonna get, I don't know, The Cosby Show. I used to watch that as a kid.
I still watch that to this day. It's a great show.
Really
I like separating a character, an actor's career from their personal life.
Yeah.
Whatever Bill Cosby has done in his personal life is his own thing. I love the show, and the show is revolutionary in its time.
Yep.
And beautifully done, beautifully executed.
Mm-hmm.
It still puts a smile on your face. It still makes you smile. So I was a big fan of it as well.
Yeah, Different Strokes with Gary Coleman. A bit later on, Baywatch. I mean, we had
You're such a Chandler bang.
We had no internet in Lebanon, so that was the closest thing to seeing girls run around on the beach.
Okay.
Those are like kind of early shows, and then it kind of evolved with time to shows like 24, to Breaking Bad, to Game of Thrones, and so on,
et cetera, et cetera.
et cetera. But like as in early shows, Golden Girls, that used to be such a fun show. I think mostly comedies, sitcoms were what I used to watch.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the pattern here. Yeah.
Not a lot of serious kind of shows. They came along later on.
Yeah, I was a big, I loved Home Improvement growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Home Improvement was one of my favorites. Boy Meets World, another one that I was a big fan of. I was a big cartoon kid, so I used to watch a lot of cartoons. So Gargoyles used to be a series that I haven't missed an episode. I still own the whole thing. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, Dexter's Laboratory. Mm-hmm. Pokemon,
I was never a fan. So.
Oh, I was a huge Pokemon fan growing up. So, I mean, those were kind of the serialized content. But as far as like live action, it was a lot of Home Improvement, Boy Meets World, Smart Guy. Those were kind of the shows that I was growing up with. Again, family-oriented sitcoms.
Yeah. And I think both of us probably Friends.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
because it started a long time ago.
It did start a long time ago, but I didn't watch it when it was on. So I got into Friends post it going off the air.
No, I used to watch it on TV. I used to wait for it weekly.
Yeah, and I was... I was sheltered from the innuendo jokes and all that stuff, I guess, growing up. I was into being a kid, honestly.
Okay.
So I wasn't watching Friends when it was on the air. When I started growing up, that's when,
All right.
I was almost like a teenager when I started really getting into Friends and watching Friends. But yeah, I mean, again, like we said in the opening of the episode, of this episode, we're both big fans of serialized content. We're both big fans of TV shows. So, that was it basically growing up. What TV shows really got you addicted to TV shows though? Because I mean, we used to watch them when we were younger, but I don't think we were as addicted as we are today.
I'll tell you what the mother of all addictions was, where I got hooked on TV shows. It was 24.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
24, I would watch on DVD, and I would watch one episode, the next, the third, the fourth, and it would be 2 a.m., and I would start getting confused as to who the characters were, but I would keep on watching, and then sometimes I'd sleep for a few hours and wake up before I go to work, watch a couple of episodes. I had to watch 24 in almost 24 hours.
Yeah, I hear you.
It would not work any other way, and that's where, I got into watching more serious and more interesting
serialized content. I mean, it's the same for me. I got into 24. When 24 was on, when my family, because it became like a family tradition, we used to sit down and watch the episode together when it was on the air, because we were living in the US when it was on the air.
Okay.
So you were watching it kind of on DVD, so almost like a little later. Yeah. We were watching it live, which kind of almost gets us into the next topic.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, I know what you're like.
But we got into 24 in season 3.
Okay.
So we had to go back and watch seasons 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
After watching season 3, and then 4 on, we were watching live. Okay. I mean, we never missed an episode.
I know. I started from the first first episode onwards.
Yeah. But that was a show that kept us on our toes. It was what really got me into, or I guess opened my eyes into the potential of serialized content, or telling a story over the course of a bunch of different episodes.
And over a specific amount of time.
Yeah, specifically because 24, I mean, if you guys don't know what the concept of 24 was, the show is about a counterterrorism unit, a CTU.
Absolutely.
And an entire season essentially occurs within 24 hours. Yep. So you had, like the following happens in real time. The
following events.
Yeah. The following episode takes place between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Events occur in real time.
And then the derps.
Yeah. Yup. And and the beeping of the clock and everything. I mean, the whole structure of the show was just pure genius. And then you had the picture-in-picture to kind of speed up time, and it made it more intense.
And then we have your boy Jack.
Yes.
We have Jack Bauer.
Yes. Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, magnificent character.
Amazing, iconic character that will go down in history. So speaking of getting addicted to serialized content, are you more of a binger or are you more of a weekly episode kind of person?
It depends on what I watch.
So it depends on the show for you.
Yeah, it depends on the show. So a show like Walking Dead, I will probably wait for the whole season to finish and then I'll watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
But shows like Game of Thrones, I'll watch on a weekly basis because you live in an era where anyone spoils anything on the internet.
But you are watching it due to avoid spoilers.
Yeah, if I could wait.
Okay.
So if there's no internet and
right,
blah,
so
blah.
that's what I'm basically saying. Are you more of would you rather watch this show, the serialized content? Would you rather watch it all in one go?
Okay.
Or would you rather watch it weekly?
Okay, if I had the choice, I would watch it in one go.
So you are a binger?
Yeah, I am a binger.
Okay.
Because shows are a bit complicated and I have memory issues, I guess. and who's that character and who's that... So if I wait 1 week to watch a show and then there's a minor character who becomes a major character, I'll forget the names. And so I like watching everything at once and thinking of the whole thing as a whole package and a whole entity. Is it healthier to watch it week to week? I don't really know, but that's how I enjoy watching my shows. How about you?
I'm more of a week to week person.
Oh, okay.
So due to my schedule, binging is slowly seeping into my programming, but it's not binging a one show. It's watching several episodes of multiple shows.
Okay.
But I am more of I like the wait. I like having that gap of kind of the cliffhangers and the suspense and the fact that you have to wait until the following week. And that, for me, this is what excites me about serialized content. I think what Netflix has done, because I think Netflix was the first, with House of Cards, it was the first kind of series that went, here are all the episodes.
Yeah.
And for me, that kind of, it breaks in the tradition of the suspense and having to wait, and nothing killed me more than reaching the end of a 24 episode or an episode of 24. And then you get that, that final and then it's black and you're like, oh, I have to wait for another week. That for me, that excitement, I can't live without it. Like, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think I will hurt people around me. My mood will shift. I'll be cranky. I mean, Avengers 4, you have no idea how I think about it every day. And that's
You're like
movie.
really pissed that it ended the way it did.
I want to know what's happening next. I want to watch the freaking movie.
Oh, man.
So I'm not a patient person when it comes to that. Patience is a quality of mine, but not in this sector. No, I have to watch the whole thing. I remember watching episodes of 24, and I literally, as I said earlier, I would be falling asleep, but I had to know.
You had to finish. I
had to watch the next episode. And again, we lived in a world where, at the time, there were no spoilers online and so on, so it was simpler to watch the whole thing. I could wait till the whole season ended.
Very true.
But again, Game of Thrones, I've had a few episodes ruined because of
spoilers. I'm not saying binging is it's completely bad, but especially because of the world that we live in. You're right, because people seem to want to burst everybody's bubble, and they want they want to ruin it, and they want to spoil, and they want to talk about it online because of the immediacy thing. But I like having my patience tested when it comes to the cliffhangers, and we're gonna talk about cliffhangers later on in the episode, but I liked that aspect of TV shows. I like having or being forced to kind of wait and theorize and, I don't know, like talk about it with my friends. Like, oh my God, did you see that? What do you think is going to happen? Like, blah, blah, blah.
But you could do that at the end of the season. You could sit and talk and discuss it.
Yeah, but there's also this keeping up with how the season is progressing is something that I also kind of like. But doesn't it progress again if you watch it one shot? Or I understand the anticipation part that I get, but let me kind of express it in a different way. Westworld, for example, is a show that I cannot binge because there's so much to unpack in every episode that watching more than one episode at a time messes with my brain. I'm just like, so much information. So like, I like having the wait and the week to week to kind of unpack and maybe go back and rewatch the episode and kind of nitpick. And maybe it's because I'm a storyteller. Like I watch them differently. I'm not simply watching shows just for pure entertainment. Like I literally break through everything and notice shots and notice colors and notice whatever. Like that's how my brain functions. So it could be that, but one of the shows that I really enjoyed binging was Stranger Things. That show, or specifically season 1, I watched in 2 days.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai was another.
Yeah.
Because the episodes were very short. Like they were short episodes.
Yeah.
Like
30 minutes, the longest episode.
So it just felt like I just watched a 30-minute episode and I'm used to watching an hour-long episode. So I might as well just kind of keep going. And I ended up watching Cobra Kai in a matter of 2 days.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I like absorbing and kind of letting something gestate in my brain and then nitpick and
I can understand with a show like Westworld, probably you may, but a show like 24, a show like Game of Thrones, I wouldn't have an issue like watching it within 1-2 days.
So like, do you okay? But you said you're not you don't wait with Game of Thrones because of spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I could, I would, but because.
We should have Game of Thrones night. Watch episodes together.
We should.
That would be fun.
Next year.
Yeah.
Because
it is the final season, so we might as well have, something to celebrate.
Yeah. And
maybe film our reactions for the show.
I'll have a very neutral reaction. I don't react.
You never reacted anything. I always look at you during the movie and you're just like,
it's in my head. It's all in my head.
Yeah, no, I'm like a what? Like a, ooh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, literally. That's what I do.
That was scary, yeah.
So, favorite TV episodes. I writing that down in the outline, I was like, holy crap. Like, what? How are we going to remember our favorite TV episodes? But here it is. It's on the rundown, so we got to deal with it. Favorite TV episodes. Episodes from TV shows. Could be anything. Some of our favorites. I'll go ahead and start.
Yep.
It's going to be a really probably an unpopular opinion, but one of my favorite episodes from Friends is...
I think I know where you're going.
One of my favorite episodes from Friends is the episode in, I believe, it's season 2. I believe it's season 2. No. Not season 2.
I can't help you if I don't know what the episode is.
Darn it. Yeah, I cannot remember the season. It's either season 2 or season 3 when Ross and Rachel first break up.
I believe it is in...
I think it's season 2.
I think it's season 3. I'm not sure.
No, it's in season 2 because then Ross ends up leaving at the end of the season Wait, I'm confused. Darn it. This makes us feel so... And we're supposed to be like the big Friends fans. But it's one of my favorite episodes of Friends. Because it was a very human episode. Beautifully acted by Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer. And the humor in the episode was also contained with Phoebe, Monica, Chandler, and Joey in Monica's room.
Yeah, with the wax.
It's just such a beautifully crafted episode. It's a beautifully crafted episode.
It's a very
third
funny
season.
episode.
You're right. It is in the third season. It's called the one where Ross and Rachel go on a break or take a break.
We were on a break.
Right. All right.
That iconic line, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, definitely. It's. I agree with you. In Friends, it's one of my favorite episodes. Them being stuck in the room, making these jokes, eating the wax, and then those scenes between Ross and Rachel.
So real.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And you feel that this is an actual breakup and you're concerned and you're worried. And and people take sides. Some people are Team Ross, some people are Team Rachel, which is very interesting because the whole concept of friends. I know I'm going a bit off topic here, but they are our friends. They're like, hey, did you see what Chandler did? And did you see what Joey said? And Phoebe and Monica, and so you feel concerned with these people. And when these friends break up, it's like someone within your group broke up, and it's like,
you're right.
What do I do? Who do I talk to? What do I say? So absolutely one of those amazing Friends episodes.
And again, so beautifully written, so beautifully acted, so beautifully directed. Just on point for me. Love that episode. What about you?
I'm going to go for something a bit more recent.
Okay.
It's actually the first episode of This Is Us.
Oh, yes.
And I think you'll agree because we've talked about this before.
Yes.
So I'm going to kind of spoil the show.
I mean, it's already in season 3 if you haven't seen it.
Exactly. But what happens in the first episode is that you're introduced to these characters, and you don't really know how they're connected. And then slowly you start to see that some of them are siblings, and then there's a couple, and nothing makes sense time-wise.
Yep.
And then at the end of the show,
a massive
twist, so beautifully written and very smart and very witty.
Very smart because he left you all the clues all throughout, and
but
you never notice.
You never look at them.
You never notice.
And then you just realize that the couple who are, if I'm not mistaken, they're celebrating the father's birthday, Mandy Moore, and celebrating a birthday and whatnot.
Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah, exactly. And then she gets pregnant and whatnot, and so on. You realize that these are the parents of the first 3 characters you see, the siblings. And everything comes together within a specific second in the hospital. The guy, if I'm not mistaken, offers him a cigarette.
Right.
And then you realize, you can't smoke in a hospital. But back then, if that took place in the 80s or 70s.
Yeah, things were different back then.
Things were different. And it just hits you. And it makes sense. And it's so powerful. And it's so nice and entertaining. It's sweet. It has very, very soft comical scenes. It has some very beautifully acted scenes. It has some kind of more emotional scenes. And it kicks off a beautiful show very beautifully and very effectively.
I agree.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite TV episodes of all time would have to be the first episode of The Newsroom.
That first scene.
The first episode as a whole for me, episode 1 of The Newsroom is so well crafted because of the fact that the opening of the episode is so freaking powerful. I mean, it's still shared on YouTube all the time.
True.
I just recently rewatched it. I felt like rewatching The Newsroom. I just recently rewatched it. And the episode is so relevant with all the stuff that they're talking about journalism and, like how journalists aren't necessarily trustworthy anymore and people don't really trust the news anymore. It's insane how relevant this TV show still is. And the acting, again, we go back to the acting. Jeff Daniels, Emily Mortimer, such powerful performances. Dev Patel, and Aaron Sorkin's writing, which I'm a huge fan of Aaron Sorkin. A massively powerful television episode for me.
I'm gonna talk about another show. This is actually, I think it's an interesting example. So I'm going to talk about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
I'm not sure what season it was. I don't remember, but there's a specific episode where Will Smith, his father, comes back into the picture. And they spend some time together and whatnot. And at the end of the show, if I'm not mistaken, Will Smith's father tells him, we're going to go on a trip. And then last second, the father cancels. And leaves. And there is actually, it's not even that episode. It's a specific scene within an episode, which is a very funny show, very comical. And I think it's one of the most emotional scenes I've seen in a sitcom.
Right.
Where Will Smith pulls off some amazing acting chops.
Yeah.
And where he goes to his Uncle Phil, the guy who's... I grew up without him. I had 17 birthdays without him. I did all without him, and very, very proud. And then breaks down and he goes, "Why doesn't he want me?" And then there's a huge embrace from Uncle Phil, and I actually am starting to have goosebumps just talking about it.
Yeah.
It's Will Smith, I think, at the peak within that show. It showed us that Will Smith can act. He's a talented artist. It shows you the bond between him and his uncle. What a powerful scene. What a powerful episode. Just hats off to this specific segment within that specific episode.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree that was powerful episode. It's been a really long time since I've seen the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, I mean, I love it when sitcoms are able to do this, when they're able to step out of
their comfort zone,
and cater to more emotional, heartfelt storylines. Golden Girls did that all the time. They had, episodes that really hit close to home. And I think in a lot of ways, this is why I like. This is why I like that episode of Friends, the breakup episode between Ross and Rachel, because of the fact that it was a human moment. It was a real moment. And for a show that was so exaggerated, the comedy that was so exaggerated and so over the top, it was a moment to take a breath and realize that, yes, those are still real characters. They're still real human beings. They can make mistakes. They're not perfect, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, it kind of links over between that Will Smith episode and Friends. One final one, favorite TV show episode, one final one. For me, it would have to be the season finale of, although that could be, that misses up with the next thing we're going to talk about. So let me think real quick. Another favorite episode of a TV show that I really liked. Oh, okay, I have one from Alias, and it's a two-parter.
Okay,
it's a two-parter. It's in season 1, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's in season 1, and it's called The Box, and it's an episode that was directed by Quentin Tarantino. 2 episodes that were directed by Quentin Tarantino, and he actually guest starred in them.
Yeah,
he's in them. So good. And again, that I'm not a big Quentin Tarantino fan.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was so limited on television because he can't do all the things that he can normally do, I think it forced him to be creative in other ways. And I absolutely love this two-parter. You got to see a lot of Sydney and her father finally trying to work together. They were saving Saul, who's technically kind of the antagonist of the story at this point. And the antagonist had another antagonist. So it was a lot of interesting, cool moving pieces. Like shoot, what was the name of the agency? Crap.
I have watched the show, but
Oh no. SD6. There we go.
SD6.
SD6.
Yeah.
So everybody in SD6 was held hostage. Very intense stuff. Very well crafted episodes. They stick with me to this day. Still, the Box Part 1, the Box Part 2.
Definitely. The last show I'm going to talk about as an episode which blew me away was the very first episode of Homeland.
Oh, yes.
Homeland is actually a very good show and has, I think, been able to maintain a certain quality, even though I do think
They've had dips.
But the first season was the most superior one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the whole episode of finding...
Because it was contained.
Yeah,
it was very, very...
Finding him in the cave and her starting to go a bit paranoid. Is he a terrorist? Is he actually a soldier? And that, again, going back to... I like the specifics in shows. So that last final scene where he's kind of moving his fingers and she focuses on that and she's like sending a code. And when she actually realizes that this guy is a threat, this guy we have to hunt down and see what he's going to do. And to me, that's also very smartly written, smartly acted, directed. And it's a very, if you haven't watched Homeland, check at least check out the first season because
Yeah, I mean, we all judged them for season 2's horrible representation of Beirut, but or Hamra. But overall, the show's done a pretty decent job of, growing with the characters and upping the ante and all that stuff. I do agree. But that opening episode is
massive.
Really, really good. Okay, now switching over to our favorite cliffhangers.
Yeah.
And we're not talking just episode to episode. We're talking about like season finale cliffhangers. And I'm going to start with my top most favorite cliffhanger of all time. I'm going to start with the number 1.
Okay, I don't have them in any order. So.
Okay, I'm going to start with the number 1 for me, and it would have to be the season finale. Again, it's from Alias, but it would have to be the season finale of season 2 from Alias, where Vaughn looks at Sydney and says, "You've been missing for the past 2 years," and you immediately realize that there's a big chunk of time between one fade out and one fade in that is now. We just did a time jump and we have no idea what happened to Sydney between fade out and fade in. And, the look on Jennifer Garner's face, Vaughn is married. She's been missing for 2 years. Like, what the, like it was a big WTF moment. I remember flipping out while watching it live. Still one of my favorite finales to this day. Because what I liked about it is that J.J. Abrams didn't go into the whole, 3 years later, he didn't do that. He gave us the information as Sydney was discovering it. And it was just such a slap to the face. Very, very powerful season finale for me.
All right. So I'm going to start with, I think it's an unpopular one, which I love. So whatever, but I'm going to go for season 7 of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
And that's
I don't watch the show, so I wouldn't know it.
So quick recap of what happens. Negan makes his first appearance.
Oh, okay.
And he captures everyone, and he has them down on their knees, and he has his bat called Lucille. Uh-huh. And he starts making these threatening remarks.
Right.
And he grabs the bat, and he bashes someone's head.
Right.
And you never see who that person is.
Oh, my gosh.
You see the bat coming on the camera. Right, so you just see that, but you don't know who he's actually hitting, and that's how the season ends. And there were speculations of who was killed off, and for a whole season you had to wait. And again, talking about me being impatient, I died for a year, like not knowing who killed who, and there were a lot
who died.
And what's interesting is the opening of season 8 is actually he kills off one person, which is not a very main character, but
okay.
And you think, okay, that's it. And then he kills off one of the main characters right after.
Yeah.
And I think that's where fans started to not like the show because it was too much. But it didn't bother me.
Yeah, we live in the world of Game of Thrones, guys.
Yeah.
Like main characters die off. Get used to it. Get used to it. Second season finale that I really enjoyed. I'm trying to think. Of a season finale that really kept me on my toes that I absolutely enjoyed. There's, is it weird? Are you feeling like this jumble of like trying to remember all this stuff?
Yeah. I have a few written down. So I prepared myself for this.
Good. That was the one episode that I was not fully fully prepped for today. So I'm trying to remember off a whim. Of season finales that I absolutely enjoyed. To be quite honest, it's the first thing that's popping to my head right now. It's again, we're going back to Friends. It's the season finale. I believe it's the season finale
I have one, so I think it's the same one. I have a feeling it's the same one.
It's the I, Ross, take the Emily.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have that one.
Yeah. So that for me, that was that's
season 4.
Season 4. That's an epic finale for me.
That's
great way to end a season. Hilarious and at the same time daunting.
Yeah.
It's so beautifully executed by David Schwimmer again and full cast and crew. That episode as a whole is just a really good finale episode. So that's my second one.
Yeah, that was my second one, so I'm going to move on to my third one.
Okay.
And then after that, I'll have to think of something too.
I mean, you could like it for a different reason. I don't know if you like it for the same reasons that I do.
I like it for the whole mechanics of the whole episode. If I'm not mistaken, Monica and Chandler hook up in that episode.
Yes, very true.
So that's also very like fun and funny.
Yeah,
and then what's her
Phoebe
name?
on the phone.
Phoebe
Everybody's reaction.
Rachel coming to tell Ross I love you, then realizing that she shouldn't, and then the whole turn of events.
Mm-hmm.
Joey watching Cheers and missing the United States.
Right.
So like fantastic episode.
Beautifully crafted.
I'm gonna go for like I think probably a more cliche one, but what the heck? I love this. It's season 6 of Game of Thrones when they kill Jon Snow.
Oh, that was in season 6.
Yeah, season 6.
Season 6?
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Season 5.
No, season 6, episode 10, Mother's Mercy. That's what I.
Season 6, episode 10 was it Mother's Mercy?
Yeah. Let me double check.
Double check, because I believe he died at the end of season 5. Because season 6 had a different. Season 6 had the Light of the Seven, so that was my favorite finale.
Wait, hold on. It's loading.
Let's see. Yeah, season 6 finale is not Mother's Mercy. There's no way that's
Season 5.
Yeah, season 5.
You're right.
Yeah, because season 6 finale is the Winds of Winter.
Yeah, my bad.
It's all right.
But it's the one where they kill Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And again, it's such a WTF moment.
Yep.
And then the whole speculation of is he alive? How will he come back to life?
I mean, all
Is
of
he
us
dead?
knew he wasn't dead, but...
Yeah, but and there was this really funny meme at Martyr Square. Some chick put the picture of Jon Snow with candles.
With candles on it, yeah. In Lebanon, we had some really hardcore fans.
Yeah, but it was
seriously hardcore fans.
But it was a very good episode because, again, Game of Thrones is one of those shows that keeps on surprising you, and you never know what's going to happen and how it's going to unfold. And that was like a shocker. That was Jon Snow, the guy that most people root for, the champion, and then okay, let's just get all the knightsmen.
Night's Watch.
Knightsmen is the movie. The Night's Watch come and like stab him, and blew my mind. It literally blew my mind. And again, I had to wait for a year, and
never a good thing.
No, not for me.
Never a good thing.
Yeah.
My favorite. Again, my last favorite season finale here is Game of Thrones season 6, The Winds of Winter.
Okay.
And it started with Cersei blowing up the Sept.
Yeah.
It started with Cersei blowing up the Sept, ended with Arya killing
what's his name?
What's his face? It was just a beautifully jam-packed episode. I'm trying to look at Daenerys makes Tyrion her hand of the queen. The Tower of Joy. Finally, it is revealed that Jon Snow is what do you call it? A Stargaryen, half Stark, half Targaryen. The death of Marjorie Tyrell. So many different revelations. Dorne gets a final bow out because obviously they completely mishandled Dorne. Just crazy. Arya's back in Westeros. It's insane. It was beautifully crafted. And again, you can't go wrong with that opening scene of the episode with Cersei blowing up the Sept.
Yeah.
That is an epic scene. Musically, directorially, visually, it's insane.
Isn't it also the episode where she gets the shame lady and ties her down? And
then she walked away, goes, shame. Yeah.
Payback.
Is a B.
Yeah.
Is a giant B. We're sort of merging our segment of our unforgettable scenes. We're merging it with maybe some of our unforgettable characters or characters that we've totally enjoyed via TV shows. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in and get this ball rolling. I think an unforgettable scene for me, since we're in the Game of Thrones mood, would be Ned Stark's death.
Yeah.
That is an unforgettable scene for me. I think it's the moment that really set the tone for Game of Thrones. Don't get attached to anybody because they will die. It really set the stage. It really showed us that this is a show that is that deals with consequences, that deals with, when you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. And that's kind of why, in a lot of ways, I love the first 4 seasons of the show. Not that I don't like seasons 5 and on, but they've just lost something. They've lost the weight and the depth that the first 4 seasons had for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go to a more recent show for the scene. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go to Stranger Things season 1.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not sure what episode it is, but it's the scene where what's his name? Not Will, the other kid, the kid from It.
Yeah. Okay.
He starts to get beaten up next to a cliff.
Yes.
And then
he gets pushed off.
He gets pushed off, and
Eleven saves the day.
Him, pops him, lets him fly out, and then Dusty's there, and Lucas. And then she breaks one of the kids' arms.
Yeah.
And then there's that quote by Dusty. She's our friend and she's crazy or something. I forgot what the exact quote was, but it's a hilarious scene. It really characterizes
Stranger Things.
It reminds you of that nostalgic kind of 1980s Goonies and Stand By Me. So scene I really enjoy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Why don't we jump into and start talking about some of our favorite characters from TV shows? Yeah. Just a little bit here. And they don't have to be the leading characters either.
Yeah.
They can be side characters. I'm going to start with one. And for me, one of my favorite characters of a TV show would have to be none other than Walter Bishop from Fringe.
Oh, Walter, that voice.
Yes. Not only is he an awesome actor, but the character of Walter is just so layered and complex. And you love him, you want to hug him, but sometimes he's just a tad too freaky.
Yeah.
And he played him so well. Walter's everything. And the finale of the show with him walking off is just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's so heartbreaking. I shed a tear. I remember watching it and I shed a tear. Walter Bishop, definitely a fave of mine.
I agree. Actually, he is a fantastic character. And again, his voice is just, I don't know why I always hear Walter.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to go, I think you know where I'm going. I'm going towards the land of friends, and I'm going towards Mr. Chandler Bing.
Mr. Chandler Bing.
Chandler Bing because of...
Chandler
Bong.
Chandler Bong.
Because of all his sarcasm and wittiness and insecurities and...
Could you be any more cliche?
Yeah. He is my favorite Friends character. I mean, I love all of the
for sure.
David Schwimmer is a fantastic actor. I think in terms of physicality, he's probably the best actor on the role. On the show. Jennifer Aniston and so on. But for me, Chandler, his inability of talking to women properly and the situations he's put in crack me up. And his one-liners, they're some of the best. One-liner jokes in the show are definitely Chandler's, and it melts your heart when he ends up with Monica. And I'm Team Chandler.
Yeah,
go Chandy.
Go Chandley.
Shandy.
What?
No.
Okay, I'll do one more.
Yeah.
I'll do one more. I'm going to say one of my favorite television characters would have to be. And this one's a tie, and they're very different characters, but I love them both equally the same. They're from they're very different shows. On the one hand, I've got Robert Ford, who's played by Anthony Hopkins on Westworld.
Okay.
I love him. Mm-hmm. He's such a cool character. Very twisted. And the other is Cop Gone Rogue from the Chicago trilogy on Chicago PD.
Okay.
It would have to be Voight, who's kind of the main actor. He's got this very like raspy voice, but he's a cop. He sort of reminds me of Jack Bauer. I will do whatever it takes to get, to save this victim or to get this bad guy or whatever. Very complex, again, very layered, very complex. You're getting the idea. I love very complex, layered characters. So, you got Walter Bishop, you've got Robert Ford, who are both psychotic scientists, and then you've got Rogue Cop. So, yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
I'm going to go for someone, the show I mentioned earlier, but I'm going to go for Carrie from Homeland.
Oh, yeah. Talk about layered.
Exactly. Extremely layered character. Claire Danes is just wow.
Yeah, her acting chops are just insane.
Her eyes, she has that look, that crazy.
Man, yes.
When she loses
she can do crazy really well.
When she loses it, she loses it.
She can do crazy really well.
And when she's over analyzing and getting into the small details and trying to figure out what's going on, wow. Again, very layered character. Not very lovable, not very likable. She does some. This is why she's such a powerful character. This is why I like her, because she's not Miss Goody Two Shoes or Miss Excellent or Miss I do no wrong. No, she messes up a lot. Mm-hmm. Very real, raw character.
Okay, so here's a tough question then.
Okay,
final question before
Tom Cruise. No,
before we sign off. What is your favorite?
Don't do it.
TV series of all time.
I can't answer. It's like the favorite movie. I cannot do that.
What is your Then here's
like
what is your go-to? What is your go-to TV series that you will put on
Friends
whenever? It's Friends for you.
Friends.
Okay.
It could be at any time. It can be any episode, any season, any character, anything. I could be halfway through an episode. It's on TV. I'm watching it on DVD. I will watch Friends on. And I think there's so many people like that.
Yeah.
Is it my favorite show? It's one of my favorite shows.
Okay.
There are a lot of excellent TV shows. To me, Game of Thrones is what it did in the not TV show, the series.
Yeah, series. Yeah.
Stranger Things. There are a lot of really good things. Narcos, the first season was impeccable.
Yeah.
So the list is so long, and it depends on your mood. It depends on what you want to watch.
Very true.
How about you?
The go-to series, The Office.
The Office, okay.
Hands down.
Yeah?
Hands down. I mean, I love Friends, and I've seen the show from beginning to end. And that's how I normally like to watch Friends. I don't like to randomly pick an episode. Yeah. I like to just go through it all.
Okay.
Whenever I watch it. Whereas The Office, I could just,
yeah.
And however, The Office seasons 1 through 7.
Okay.
Those are my go-to seasons. 8 and 9, I watch them, but they're not my go-to seasons because Michael Scott's gone. And for me, the show ended when Michael left. And without any disrespect to any of the other actors or the storylines or the writers. But Michael Scott was the heart of the show, dude. So The Office is that for me. But another go-to series that I really love would have to be The West Wing. The West Wing, I loved The West Wing so much. I love the show. Again, Aaron Sorkin. There was so much more stuff I wanted to talk about TV shows, shows that were canceled too soon.
We could do
that, but we'll come back to it.
We're going to do
we'll come back to
it
because we also had another topic that we didn't really discuss, which is the changing landscape of TV shows.
Yeah.
But that takes so much. There's so much to unpack with that. So it'll be good with shows that were canceled too soon, maybe shows that have lasted too long.
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy. So we'll probably do another TV show oriented episode, spotlight episode soon. So if you want to follow us on social media, you can do so at Alan Mahana and
had.solo.
You can also check us out on our website at www.script2screenpod.com. Also our Facebook page, facebook.com/script2screenpod. You can also listen to us on
Anghami, Spotify, Podbean, Podchasers. You can watch us on YouTube.
and watch our Script to Screen conversations on Facebook and listen to them on the podcast as well. We want to thank you guys for tuning in every Friday and every Saturday. Y'all are such loyal fans.
Yeah, we love y'all.
It's like the TV show that you cannot binge unless you're using one of the podcast apps.
Yeah.
That's how you can binge us. Whoa. Or binge listen to us. Anyway.
Yeah, moving on.
I hope you guys are enjoying the new seasons that are currently on the air right now. Shoot us a message, a DM about what your favorite TV shows are, what you're currently watching. We would love to share that with the listeners again the next time we do a TV episode. It's exciting. We want you guys to be engaging with us. Whenever you guys have done that, we've talked about it on the show.
Definitely.
We've mentioned what you guys have messaged to us or commented, et cetera, et cetera. So we do love interacting with you guys, so keep it up. Keep it up.
Do it. Just do it.
On that note, we're going to leave you with a massive cliffhanger, with a massive secret, with a massive twist that you're not going to see coming. And that twist is... Hi, I'm Alan.
And I am Hat Solo.
And together we can rule the galaxy.
That might take too much time. Let's talk about films and TV instead.
That makes sense. Join us at 3 p.m. every Friday for Script to Screen Spotlight and Saturday for the Script to Screen News Hour.
We'll be discussing all the latest news from the film and TV industry.
And we'll also enchant you with some of the greatest songs and soundtracks out there. Script to Screen, only on Radio Lebanon 96.2 FM, made to be heard.